saying things like it's almost sundown and doing Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review. First of all, a quick update on hiatus videos. They are coming. I know that none have really been posted in a while, but I have had a bit of a run of bad luck, especially getting sick in the past week, as you might be able to still hear in my voice. But no, not RIP hiatus videos. They're coming. I'm going to work on them when I'm able to, and I will get all of them posted. Except for catching up with Ninja Steel, but that's due to some technical issues. Alright, so let's just jump into this week's review and try to keep things short and sweet. Apparently Brody has his brother back now, but what's the deal with that? Let's find out by taking a look at the 11th episode of Ninja Steel, Poisonous Plots. We get an interesting change literally right off the bat, as instead of our standard plot summary narration, we get one narrated instead by Brody, recapping the events of the first two episodes from his perspective. At first, I thought this was just to have that story fresh in our minds, so it was there when we had Aiden's take on it, but something occurred to me just as I was filming this. What if this was the episode that the Ninja Steel writers intended to come back from the hiatus from? Think about it. We have the previous episode ending with a pretty major revelation leading to a giant cliffhanger. Aiden comes back. Where's he been? What's going on with that? And then, with this episode, we have a more in-depth recap of the events leading up to the series, which could kind of serve to catch viewers up after the long break. So maybe the writers did intend for this to be the return from the hiatus, and either Nickelodeon or Saban Brands, for whatever reason, held firm that they had to go to the hiatus after the 8th episode. So, as I just kind of hinted, at the school, Aiden is telling the other Rangers and Mick, oh, and by the way, Mick's full name is supposedly Mick Canic. Get it? Mechanic? What happened to him. After his dad told him to hide the Ninja Steel and run, Aiden stayed precisely where he was, watching his dad battle as a Power Ranger and lose. It was after Galvanax left, for some reason, that Aiden decided it was time to run. He hid the clue for Brody and then hid the Ninja Steel at the school. For some reason, he says those two things the other way around, but if you think about it, that doesn't make any sense. He then got on a train and rode it as far as it went, knowing that Galvanax could be coming for him. When he saw the Power Rangers on TV, and especially that the Red Ranger had a Ninja Power Star, he knew that that had to be Brody, and came to find him. So yes, apparently, though we had this mysterious scene of Aiden seeing the Rangers demorph, I guess he already knew. Last week when I praised the reunion of Brody and Aiden, I had some people ask me how I could have possibly liked that scene when Brody should have been asking 1,000 different questions. I personally felt that that was a character choice. Brody is incredibly trusting and not incredibly smart. But that doesn't mean that I didn't want anyone to be asking some questions here, and that's why I was happy to see Mick exercise some caution. Aiden asks if he can see the Rangers' secret base. Brody is all too eager, but Mick steps in, saying that with both the Ninja Steel and the Ninja Nexus Prism hidden there, it's going to be Rangers only, sorry. Though one might point out that Mick himself is not a Ranger. And neither is Redbot, who, including this episode, has now been missing for 3 episodes straight. Maybe a robot would be handling the situation a little too logically. Aiden says that's fine and asks if he can train with the Rangers. They're all too game for that, and they get to sparring. We see that the Rangers are improving at being ninjas. Both Brody and Calvin use the Scarecrow technique and follow that up with the camouflage sheet. But something's not exactly right with Aiden. When Haley praises Levi's moves, Aiden goes ham and starts going hard after Levi, even when Levi tells him to knock it off and cool it. Brody realizes that there's a problem and goes over to check things out. Aiden leaves in a huff, and when they say that Aiden's just a show-off and not interested in training, Brody excuses it as him having been alone for 10 years. Kind of understandable, but there's no way that Aiden has been alone for 10 years. He's not a mountain man. He's well-kept and clothed and fed. Listen, heroes. This week, the Victor and Monty stuff is utterly pointless. A little bit of comic relief that just barely ties into the plot and has no real significant meaning. So, unlike most weeks, this time I'm going to summarize their entire plotline now so we can just move past it. In baking class, the students are making chocolate molds for a charity auction. It's apparently a hot day, which should really have no impact on molding chocolate indoors. So, the students, such as for example Levi and Haley, can't get the chocolate molds to stay solid. Monty once again decides that cheating is the only way to win, adding glue to their chocolate so it will stay solid. Yes, Monty, add glue to chocolate that is probably going to be eaten by children. Once he pours the chocolate into the mold, it starts leaking out of holes in the mold. Victor gets sprayed by the chocolate and bumps the mold, which knocks Monty off balance, covering Victor in the glued chocolate, which hardens. Monty runs to get help, but then two workers, one of whom is literally Jeff Dolan, the voice of Gosei, think that Victor is one of the chocolate molds, taking him for the charity auction. At the end of the episode, the teacher, of course, reveals that the Victor statue has been deemed the best chocolate mold and invites the kids to go eat it. Victor manages to rock free and break out of the chocolate, freaking out the kids. It was not funny, and it added nothing to the episode. Moving on! Suddenly, the Rangers are fighting. Their sensors detected a monster in the area, but when they show up, all they see are Kudabots and Aiden, who apparently somehow knew to be there, and is fighting to save a group of people. Or is he? I'll touch on this later on during pros and cons. Brody chides the other Rangers for thinking Aiden is just a show-off, and they move in to fight, sending Aiden to safety. The Rangers keep going on about how this is a lot of Kudabots. Heroes, I wanted to call them out on this, so I counted. But assuming that each Ranger is fighting a unique set of Kudabots, there are at least 25 on the battlefield. That is a pretty good number. There is also a monster on the battlefield, she's just off to the side. Her name is Toxity, because toxic tea, and she wonders which of the Rangers she should poison. She says she's going to poison both the White Ranger and the Gold Ranger, and then fires a single shot. This is BS. The only reason that she says this is to drive it into the audience that this is a white and gold focus episode. I mean, you could have had her fire 2 shots and have Brody jump in front of them both. That ups the drama in the episode a little bit. Whoa, he took a double shot of the poison. I guess I kind of just spoiled this, but Brody jumps in front of the shot, taking it himself and getting demorphed and poisoned. Toxity reveals herself along with Madamodius, and the two of them have a very simple proposal for the Rangers. They have the antidote to the poison, and they'll gladly give it to the Rangers, in exchange for all 6 of their power stars. Brody more or less tells the two where they can stick their antidote, but they say that he's only got until sundown. The Rangers get Brody back to the school, and after checking his pulse, Mick says that he is indeed getting weaker. Aiden is apoplectic and demands that the Rangers indeed give up their power stars, even guilting Levi and Haley by saying that the shot Brody took was meant for them. Do you see? This is the only reason to have Toxity say that she was firing at 2 Rangers even though she only took 1 shot. The Rangers know that they can't give up their power stars and decide to start working on their own antidote. Spoilers, that doesn't go anywhere. Haley pulls Levi aside and says that she has her own plan. She can't tell him what it is just yet, just asks him to help her gather the power stars. Though she does seem to check that Aiden is watching. He is, and he smiles to himself. Though, giving him the benefit of the doubt, it could just be that he was happy that his guilt-tripping them worked, and he was relieved to see that they were gathering the power stars to save Brody. Monty busts into the baking room looking for Victor, but finds Levi and Haley there instead. Gee, I wonder what the two of them were doing in there. After Monty runs off, they close a case that seems to contain the 6 ninja power stars and run off themselves, saying things like, "It's almost sundown, and doing this is taking a big chance." On their way out, Brody stops them, joking that he needed to get some fresh air, but really it's that he didn't want them to give away his power star. They decide to let him in on the plan and inform him on the way there. At the agreed-upon spot in the forest, Haley screams out that they are giving up the ninja power stars. Odious and Toxity show up, and, interestingly enough, actually make the trade. And the antidote actually works. The villains were honest this week. However, the Rangers were not. Of course, they didn't hand over the actual ninja power stars, and if you were paying even half a shade of attention to this episode, you already knew what they did. They made chocolate molds of the power stars, which is revealed when they start melting. Remember, it's a hot day. So you're telling me that Levi and Haley couldn't make a chocolate pyramid hold together for 5 seconds, but they were able to not only make chocolate molds of the power stars, but paint them, put them in a suitcase, take them outside to the forest, and hand them over without them melting or breaking? Nice idea, but I don't buy it. They give the other Rangers back their real ninja power stars, which they did take just to make molds for the chocolate ones. Odious is rather pissed off, of course, though when the Rangers morph, she runs away, leaving things to Toxity. Brody's not really down for this kind of cowardice and chases after her, but she calls down some Kudabots and manages to escape. Brody gets himself a nice solo fight scene. We then get a shining example of something that I have been saying for a while. Sometimes a single line of dialogue is all it takes to resolve a plot hole. Did you find yourself wondering why Toxity wouldn't just fire another shot of poison at another one of the Rangers? She tells them that they sure are lucky that her latest batch of poison is still brewing. One line, the idea makes sense, plot hole resolved. Despite that poison not being ready yet, she decides to use some of it to thin the herd a little, taking Calvin, Haley, and Sarah out for the moment. This gives Preston and Levi another dual fight, for some reason, using a lightning and tornado finisher to take Toxity down, and then taking a wheel fee, if that's how you say that. Anyway, Cosmo asks the Galaxy Warriors crowd if they feel like Toxity deserves another chance, but then tells them to get louder! Dude, back off. Are you actually asking them? If you're gonna do it, just do it. We get a rather weird Zord fight this week. Levi says that he and Brody should handle this themselves, summoning just their Robo-Zords. I do have to admit it was pretty cool to see 2 giant robots that are as agile as ninjas. But then the other Rangers quickly summon their own Zords, and they form their 2 Megazords and very quickly finish off Toxity. After another one of those Ninja Star transitions that actually works this time, we see Aiden at the high school checking out the chocolate display. At least I assume he's there to check out the chocolate display, because considering their ages and the times past, Aiden's got to be about 20 years old. I highly doubt that he is high school age. Levi and Haley apologize for calling him a showboat, but he says that he was in fact showing off, and says that he's learned a lesson about teamwork. On the Warrior Dome, we see Madame Odious talking to a mysterious someone just off screen about their plan to get the Power Stars. Ooh, a little mystery and drama. Who could this person be? Could it be Aiden? Might it be Levi? We saw that Madame Odious had him in the mind machine before. Or maybe it's some new monster, maybe a brand new general in Galvanax's forces. Find out next time on Power Rangers! Or find out this time on Power Rangers, because the camera immediately pans over and reveals Aiden, who even gives us a mwahahaha laugh. I'm not going to waste time ranting about this twice. For the moment, I'm just going to fling the dang stars. Episode 11, Poisonous Plots. Pros, continued trend of good conflict-based stories, some real tension regarding Brody's fate, and some nice fight scenes. Cons, the Rangers' plan works a little too easily. Useless Victor and Monty, and that last scene. Regression to the mean, and then some. Poisonous Plots gets 2.5 stars out of 5. I think the best way for me to put this first point is that I like a lot of the ideas the writing staff's coming up with right now. They seem to be trying more complex and complicated storylines. A man's friends are angry at his brother, especially a brother that he just reunited with. It's real life, it's tricky, and there's room for a lot of good stuff there. Now, we haven't gotten a ton of good stuff out of those ideas just yet, but I'm hoping that it's the start to what was a learning process through the seasons. I've been complaining lately about the lack of tension in Ninja Steel, so I'm going to give them a little bit of credit this week for Brody's plight. He was clearly in pain throughout the time that he was poisoned, and even Mick confirmed that the poison was going to kill him, though they do that dumb don't say kill thing, as Mick said the poison was going to destroy him. When Brody dragged himself up to confront Levi and Haley, he was clearly still in a lot of pain and kept insisting on not giving up the Power Stars even at the cost of his own life. That is a little bit more tension, so kudos. And this episode did have some nice fight scenes in it. The training scenes were well done and were a good way to show the progression of the Rangers as ninjas. Brody's solo fight was actually a nice demonstration of his specific ninja abilities, and even Preston and Levi got another dual fight scene. For whatever reason, they keep getting dual fight scenes. Heck, even the Robo-Red and Robo-Rider Zord fight was nicely done and interesting. And if all of those pros sounded ever so slightly backhanded, yeah. So, the Chocolate Stars plan was good in theory, but required far better execution than the Rangers would be capable of. There was no indication that anyone in the classroom was even painting any of their molds. But you're going to tell me that Levi and Haley, who couldn't even put together a chocolate pyramid just minutes earlier, were somehow able to whip up 6 perfect candy Power Stars, excellently professionally painted in their individual colors? I'm sure that they thought it was clever to point out that it was a hot day. Again, impacting molding chocolate indoors, how exactly? And having that be the sign that the stars were actually fakes. But was anybody watching the episode fooled from the very start? The Rangers had shown no inclination to actually giving up their Power Stars. Levi and Haley specifically said that maybe they could trick the monsters, and the two of them had been working with the chocolate earlier in the episode. When Haley pulled Levi aside and said, "I have a plan," I said, yeah, you're going to make chocolate fakes of the Power Stars. The misdirection was so badly handled that I didn't even think it was misdirection at first. I just thought the episode was making clear what they were actually doing. Victor and Monty were as useless as Galvanax in this episode. Yes, I will admit that their plotline tied into the episode's main plotline with the chocolate thing, and sure, Monty almost saw the Power Stars, at least the fake ones. But it just had nothing overall to do with the episode, and it was stupid comic relief that was not funny. I'm talking about Robot Chicken Thor kicking the TV. This isn't funny! And, by the by, Monty decides to cheat again. I really miss the Victor and Monty that stood up to a monster earlier in the season, even if it was just to get popular. They were being stupid, but they also showed bravery, and it was kinda noble. Bo-ho-ho, heroes! Oh, heroes, here we go. Here we go, heroes, here we go. In fact, give me just a second. La 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 la. Okay. That last freaking scene! They go through all the trouble of introducing Aiden and introduce some mystery to the plot. Is that really Aiden? Where has he been the last 10 years? Why is he just now showing up? Within one episode, they spoil the freaking mystery. Aiden is evil and working for Madame Odious. I mean, I guess the only question left is whether that is actually Aiden. No spoilers, please. But I just don't understand why this all had to be solved so quickly. You know what it feels like? It feels like a giant handhold, like the intelligence of the audience once again being disrespected. Hey everybody, here's our brand new character, Aiden. He's Brody's brother, remember? Now you might be wondering whether Aiden is good or evil. Don't you worry, he's totally evil. We're going to let you know this now at the end of the episode where you're just getting to know him. The Rangers might not find this out until later on. Don't you feel smart? No, Ninja Steel, I feel stupid because I'm watching a show that refuses to let me think, wonder, and ponder. It sure was nice spending one whole week wondering if this guy was on the level. Was it really necessary to spoil this so soon? I'm kind of reminded of Dino Supercharge when Heckle was revealed to the Rangers as evil after only 3 episodes. You could have done more with this, raising some real suspense and drama and making your show actually interesting. Despite all that, there is one tiny little thing I'm going to give them credit for, and this was the thing I said I was going to touch on later. Obviously, Aiden knew where to be for the Kudabot attack because Odious filled him in on the details. However, if you watch this scene where Aiden is saving these people, it's pretty clear that this is all kind of staged. The Kudabot is barely attacking him, Aiden is barely holding back that spear with no real effort, and then when the Rangers show up, that Kudabot just leaves. I thought that was a very subtle, nice little touch. So in the end, this episode was a pretty major disappointment for me, because I felt like Ninja Steel had been building to bigger and better things. I feel like that before that last scene, this episode was really headed for a 4. Okay, probably a 3.5. That last scene was a full point deduction because no, Ninja Steel. No. Bad. Don't do that. No. And next week's episode makes me even more nervous because of the title of it, what's said in the summary, and what that might possibly mean happening. Let's take a peek at the 12th episode of Ninja Steel, Family Fusion. The Rangers access a powerful new Megazord formation to battle Ripcon. Just take a second to consider that title, what the new Megazord formation likely is, and what that might end up meaning is revealed. Please don't, Ninja Steel. If it is what I'm thinking it is, please don't reveal it this soon. A bad score awaits if you do. That's going to wrap up another Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode review. Thank you folks so much, as always, for watching. Make sure to like the video by clicking the like button right down below, that big old thumbs up. In the comments below, let me know what you thought of this episode and of my review of it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to see all of my videos, and ring that bell icon so you get notified of whenever I post new videos, such as this Ninja Steel episode review. And this is normally where I would say if you wanted to toss a little support to my channel, you could visit a certain website in order to do so. But considering current events lately, for this episode, if you do want to toss a little support to my channel, I would actually appreciate you heading over to the Red Cross's official website and tossing them a little financial support in order to help the victims of Hurricane Harvey. I think that's a good cause that we should all support right now. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. They are coming. I'm going to get them done and posted as soon as I can. We get an interesting change literally right off the bat, as instead of the standard and not incredibly smart. And not incredibly smart. Dagnabbit! Sorry, Rangers only. And Aiden fighting to save people. And is saving some people nearby. Or is he? In exchange for all 6 of their power stars. Brody tells the two what they can do with their antidote. No. We get a rather weird Zord fight this week. Levi and I highly doubt that he is actually a high school student. They're not doing a lot with these sorts. I think the best way for me to put this first point is that I like some of the ideas that the writing staff is coming up with. But there's definitely room for them to continue to because I'm watching a show that refuses to let me think, wonder, and ponder. I felt like this episode might have been headed for a 4. That's gonna do it for another episode.